Hi, I'm Emily Taylor with Collage Quilter. Today I'm going to walk through making the Christmas goose pattern. And first of all, I just want to show you this is available on my website, collagequilter.com, as a kit. In the kit comes the complete pattern with the template and step-by-step photo instructions, as well as fabric, collage fabric, background fabric, and fabric to do the fussy cutting wreath that we see here. So in addition to this, you will also need parchment paper, which is the same thing as baking paper. It's what we line our cookie sheets with. And also included in the kit, if you buy the kit, is a packet of light Steam-A-Seam 2. So these two they work hand in hand, and I'm going to show you how that happens a little later in the video. But those are the things that you need to get started. You will prepare all of your fabric with this adhesive. So let's go get started on that. All right, so here is some of the fabric that I've pulled to get started with the goose. And I just want to point out, if you're not using the kit, to pull as much gray, a good gray to creamy spectrum, so that we've got dark fabrics on, up to lighter fabrics. I really like incorporating some fabric that has some texture in it, like these pieces. And the kit, if you purchased the kit, has many of these fabrics already. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I've also pulled some orangey, rougey browns, and then some brown fabric for his back, so the back feathers. So my advice is to choose as much fabric, pull in as much fabric as you can, because the more fabric that you have, the larger your palette is, and the larger your palette is, the easier it is, and the more fun it is. So all my fabric pieces have been prepared with Steam-A-Seam, so you can see that they have the paper on the back already. And this is my preferred adhesive, as I said, is light Steam-A-Seam 2. And then you can see the other tools that I have ready to get started are my scissors, my tweezers, my mini wand iron, and an iron rest. So now I'm going to just go ahead and start the collage. Okay, so I have traced the goose template onto parchment paper, and it's just a really pretty rough sketch. And I like to work with the gray tone template right next to me so that I can have a reference right there. And now I'm just going to dig in and start applying my fabric to the collage. So generally I'll probably start in the darker areas of the goose and get this leg, that's the hind leg that's behind the body, down. And so let's just get started. All right, these first few pieces of fabric are not going to stick very well to the parchment paper, and that's because parchment paper is a non-stick surface. And so this is where a wand iron comes in really helpful. So I can just press just part of the piece to the parchment paper. The heat will activate the glue, and you'll notice I'm being very careful not to press them to each other quite yet, because if I want to change anything, I can still do that as long as I haven't pressed them together. Okay, so one thing that I want to mention is the feathers look most interesting when you select fabric that has a lot of contrast or texture. It just represents texture really well. So this piece is one that I love because it has a lot of texture. And then, oops, this one here, again, just kind of a lot of interest going on. And so I think that's part of what makes the goose look really interesting is an interesting assortment of fabric. So just wanted to mention that. And then also pieces that are very organic that mimic feathers. I'll be using this one up here where it needs to get a little whiter. So please be careful when you're selecting your own fabric that you incorporate fabric that has some interesting texture. All right, folks, so let me show you how I'm going to do the eye. This is the fabric that I've selected, and the reason I've selected this is because it's got some variety in it, and I'm hoping that maybe I can catch one of these lighter pieces, or some of the lighter shades that will maybe look like a highlight, so that I don't have to do that little highlight. So fingers crossed, right? So I'm going to peel the paper away from the back side of the fabric, and I'll just trace it right here. Get the right size and shape. Now I can see that on the back, and then I'm just going to trace it again, because when the fabric is dark it becomes a little bit difficult to see. So now I'm going to press that so that I can cut that out. All right. So now I'm going to cut that out. Oh, cutting this out. Ooh, I need glasses. Okay, so there's the little eye, but to make it stand out on this, I am going to put it on another piece of fabric that's a little lighter. So this is just a little trick that I've learned. It's like an eyeliner in reverse. Peel that paper off. Stick it right here. And now I will press that. And I can cut around this. And that will just give the eye some definition. And it looks like I did not succeed in getting any sort of highlight. So if I want to do a highlight, I can do a little dot in the middle there to give the eye a little highlight. So now I know it's going to go right there. I'm going to just hold on to it for a second until I get the rest of there's the eye. I'm going to just get the rest of her done, and then I'll peel that back and make sure I get it in the right spot. All right, so I have pretty much finished little Miss Goose. And the one thing that I haven't done is pressed all the pieces together. And the reason that I haven't done that is I want to make sure I'm happy with it. So the number one trick for ensuring that I'm happy with it is looking at it through my phone camera. And this will kind of help me see if there are any pieces that kind of stand out and annoy me. And the one thing that I see that might bother me is this one, but I think I'll just leave it because it doesn't bother me that much. But I would, at this point be able to just go in and peel up any pieces with my tweezers and replace them. But now I'm going to get started on the red ribbon. And the easiest way to do this is to just make 3 value sets of red. So a dark red, which will be, the dark red will kind of be maybe in here where the shadow of the inside of the ribbon is, and I think it goes down here. So all of these these areas around here are gonna be the darker red, and then I'll need the medium red, and I'll choose several pieces that will be my medium red, and then some that will be the lighter red that will be kind of the highlight. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll just keep working. Okay, so I have finished the collage of little Miss Goose. She's so cute. And this, now I wanted you to see, is the most magical part when I get to peel the whole thing off and it comes off the parchment paper just like a sticker. And all the pieces of fabric are now stuck together and they still have the fusible web on the background. So this is the reason in my parchment pressing patterns that we use light Steam-A-Seam 2 as the adhesive with parchment paper. We build the collage on parchment paper because this magnificent little creature is what it sticks together. So let's try it on the green, shall we? In the original that you can see right next to me, if you buy the kit, you get the background, the cream background fabric, all the fabric to get the goose, and all the fussy cut pieces come in the kit. But we thought it would be fun to do a different version of the goose. So let me get her up here. All right, so there she is on the green. Now, this, I'm going to trim this down just a little bit. I want as a minimal amount of negative space on this one. And I'm not going to do any greenery. I'm just going to leave it exactly as it is and quilt it. Now, this would be a really good piece to just do some vertical stitching and quilting. You can do that on your domestic machine, just straight line stitching, because this is a wall hanging. It doesn't have to be really dense. And let me show you, this is new fabric to our shop, and it is Cloud 9 fabric. It's called Spring Showers. So if you are interested in getting this fabric for the background of the goose, I think I love it. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you'll subscribe to this YouTube channel for more helpful tutorials. And you can buy all of my books and patterns at collagequilter.com.